name is Giovanna Proença and I'm the instructor of Doors Coding School. I'm here to give you a guide of what you should follow in order to learn how to code and also how can you apply for jobs once you complete the whole curriculum we're going to pass to you. This curriculum here is based on your level, so I'm assuming here that you took our quiz and now your result is higher intermediate, which is amazing because we can say for sure that you know about variables, functions, and how conditionals works, but there are still some gaps we need to solve in the part of loops and other fundamentals of programming that will be required to go to the next level and learn the initial concepts of web development, and by the end of that learn the complex skills of full stack developer so you can become one and work in that area. All right, so based on that, we're gonna start suggesting you to start CS50 Python if you haven't do so. CS50 Python is a course from Harvard, all right? It's the same course they offer at there. Now they are offering here online as well. It's free and it's really good because they start from the very beginning of programming and it will teach you everything you need. So all the fundamentals of programming are in here. Functions, variables, conditionals, loops, how to manipulate files, and more, okay? The good thing about this course is because they focus only on the fundamentals of programming, so different from universities where you have to learn multiple things, here it's focusing only on what really matters. Besides that, it's not a tutorial course, so you won't be watching and just learning by watching, because to be true, this is something that we don't think that it's the good idea to learn how to code. Only watching tutorials, you won't be able to learn how to code. You have to pass through the frustration of having to solve a problem using programming and failing and having some bugs, because this will make you stronger and this will make you learn how to actually code. And this is the good part about CS50, because they have several exercises that are challenging, that are hard, and we can say for sure that you know the concept because you were able to solve them. So that's why we highly recommend CS50, and by the end you're going to have a certificate from Harvard, either for free if you prefer, or you can pay a verified version. So, well, as I mentioned, this course will focus on the fundamentals. You already did, by the knowledge you have, you don't need to do the first 2 weeks. You can do only the problem sets, for example, as a measure of getting the certificate by the end. But where you should start focusing is the week of loops. Further in this video, I will get into more details of the steps you should take, but now it's an overview of what you should do, okay? So as I mentioned, by the end of this course, you're gonna earn your certificate, but this is not enough to actually start working as a developer. Here, you're gonna learn the basic tools of programming, and then we need to go to the next step, which is learning the initial concepts of web development. So here, you're gonna learn about SQL, you're gonna learn about HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and Flask. It's another course from Harvard, as I mentioned. This was the old version before CS50 Python was there. So now that we have CS50 Python, we don't need to do those weeks 0 to 6.5. We're gonna start from week 7, and SQL will teach you how can you manipulate tables and database using code. HTML, CSS, and JavaScript will allow you to build really nice websites that you can play around, you can show to people. And the last week, which is Flask, we're gonna learn a library from Python, and that's why we start from Python in the last course. And this library will help you to build a functional website. So you're gonna allow people to register, log in and log out in your website and do other complex things that make a website more robust. Okay, after that, you can start applying for jobs, but we don't recommend you to do at this point because you're gonna still be missing some important things that will be filled in with CS50 Web. So again, we're gonna complete this whole course. You should complete this whole course and get your certificate as well, because this course will get into more advanced concepts. You're gonna learn more things about HTML and CSS that are needed. You're also gonna learn about Django, which is another library from Python that it's more complex than Flask, and actually is the library that people uses in real life in the companies to build their websites, and also other things that are required to become a full stack developer, front-end developer, or a back-end developer. So at the end of this course, you're gonna have 3 job titles to start applying for jobs, all right? So as I mentioned, you should complete all of those courses and then you're gonna apply for jobs. In the next session, I will explain how can you use those courses to create your portfolio. So now that you know all the courses you should do, let's talk about the portfolio, okay? So as I mentioned, with CS50 Web, you're gonna be doing some practical projects. Among those projects, you're gonna be building your own Google, Wikipedia, and e-commerce. You're gonna clone Gmail, you're gonna create a social media like Twitter or the old X, and at the end, a final project of your choice. So this will be really good to display your experience, right, in those areas. But you could do as a regular programmer that just put those code on GitHub and share in your CV, but this won't make you stand out from the others. And that's why we highly recommend you displaying your portfolio like that. So you should record a video of yourself explaining the project and displaying this nice website in here, because think about the following. The first person that you're gonna have contact is someone from HR, and this person not necessarily know about anything about programming, right? So if you can explain yourself, explain your project and your experience to this person, you're gonna be one step ahead from the others. Not only because you're displaying your experience, but also because you're gonna show your communication skills, because another important part of being a programmer is not only coding, but actually explaining to others your thought on solving something. And if you have that, you're gonna be different from the others, okay? So why we say that? We do this with all of our students, this methodology that we're doing here, and all of them started working as developers. You can see our past students' LinkedIn or their testimony in our website, but now I wanna show you a short video about one of them telling us their experience with us.
Hello, I am Alex, and I just wanted to give a testimonial to the Doors coding community. They helped me really get into coding, and it was something that I was interested in. However, I had no idea how to get into, so I contacted them, and I have to say that they were really nice. Giovanna was my teacher. She helped me every week through lessons, and that really helped me get through the technical side of coding. Also, I got good email support. Every week, if I had any troubles, I would just send a screenshot or possibly share my code with them, and then they would get right back to me, helping me through projects such as projects for courses like Harvard CS50. And so that will really help me out. Not just technical, I guess I could say I also got a lot of emotional support. Coding can be a little bit frustrating, so they really made sure that the lessons we went through were tailored to the needs I had at the time. They would go at a pace to make sure that I could keep up. And so I just wanted to say, not just the technical side, but the emotional side, they really did an outstanding job. So I just wanted to recommend them, especially if you are interested in getting into the world of coding.
All right, so now that you saw the testimonial of our student, I want to tell you why you should use Coding Doors and not only the CS50 courses. So, well, I already mentioned that CS50 is really good. Their methodology, their structure is really well planned. They will teach you all the fundamentals, all the skills you need in order to become a programmer. But you will face, and you probably face if you already did CS50 before, that there are not enough exercises for you to practice. Usually the exercises, you have the lecture, you need to watch the lecture, and then there is a huge gap between the lecture and the problem sets they will ask you to do. And this can make you feel a little bit frustrated. And you can see that by the dropout rate of this statistic here from David Mellon, the professor of Harvard. So basically for the first week, they have several students, and then for the next week, it kind of cut half of the people kind of drop out the course, and then the statistics just show us that by the end of the day, few people complete the course. There are several reasons for that, and I will show you the first one. The first one is because of this lack of exercises for you to practice, so that's why we created Coding Doors. Coding Doors is an online platform, it's free. You have several exercises, more than 500 exercises from different concepts, different aspects, and they all start from the easy level until the hard ones, so you can actually understand what's going on and getting step by step what you have to do, and then you're prepared to face the problem sets and also real-world problems, okay? So let me show you a little bit how our platform works. As you can see here, this is the tree with the full curriculum that I just mentioned. It starts from the very first week of CS50 Python and it ends at the last week of CS50 Web. And for each circle you're seeing here, we have some exercises for you to do. So let's suppose we're working here with this first week. Here, it's focusing only in functions and variables, so you have 20 exercises to play around. And it starts from this easy concept here, like returning the number 2. And let's suppose I return the number 1. If you run, we have tests being working here beneath the hood. And you have an AI tutor giving you suggestions of how you should solve your question, solve your problem if you have a bug in your code, or it will give you other suggestions if you pass all the tests. Besides that, you don't have only the AI tutor, but you have the theory here, you have some hints to solve the problem by yourself, and you have our own personal solution that fits exactly our expectations for students at this level of CS50 Python, for example. Okay, so this is pretty good because you can keep practicing multiple times until you're feeling comfortable and ready to move on for the next step of the course. All right. The second problem of CS50 is not only this lack of exercises to practice, but also the idea of not having someone to help you out. So those courses are free for us, they are available online, but if you try to do it by yourself, it can be very complicated. As I mentioned, the lecture is pretty good, Professor Mellon is amazing, but when it's time for us to face the problems, things are not the same, things are pretty complicated. So that's why we can also see here this dropout rate. If you have someone to ask, if you have someone to guide you through the problems, to give you the right path, you can speed up your learning process and move on with the course. So this is why we recommend having a mentor. Here at Doors Coding School, we offer the service of one-on-one tutoring, which will be you and our instructor working online via Zoom, or a bootcamp, which will be a group class, and then we're going to be working together. So it's online, you can fit your routine, you're going to have tutors with expertise that will help you within 24 hours. It's affordable compared to other schools, and you have this sense of accountability. So this is the most important part that CS50 doesn't cover. You're gonna have someone to ask for questions, to solve your bugs, to help you out, to teach you how you should think in order to solve the problems. And also, when you feel frustrated and demotivated, you have someone to keep you on track. So the sense of accountability is really hard when you're trying to learn by yourself. Besides that, at Doors we have a huge community of people from around the world, so you can have a really nice network. And by doing all of those courses, we guarantee by learning with us that you're going to complete all the three CS50 courses I mentioned and earn your certificate. All right? So now that I mentioned all of that, let's think where we should start. Well, so I already told you what courses you should do, what level you are, what resources are important to do with CS50, like coding doors, and the importance of having a mentor. So I will tell you exactly where you should start, all right, in your programming journey. So since I already mentioned you know about conditionals, functions, and variables, so now you should start at week 5 loops in our coding doors platform, okay? So we already skipped this week 0 of CS50 Python, week 1 of CS50 Python. Now we're gonna do week 2 loops, all right? And you should start exactly in this circle. As you can see, our tree kinds of follow the same paths, the same weeks we have in CS50 Python. So if you do start at here doing loops, then strings 2, which will teach you manipulating strings with loops. We're gonna have lists 2 that will teach you how to use loops and lists, and dictionaries. At the end, you're gonna have this circle here that open it up already for the problem set 2 of CS50 Python. So you can follow this tree, and by the end of that, once you complete it all, you're gonna be able to work as a developer. So, well, now we are at the end of this presentation. I hope I clarify all your questions and all your doubts about the path you should take, the resources you should use, and how can you apply for jobs. In the next days, we're gonna be sending you emails to teach you how can you do that. Everything I mentioned here in this video, we're gonna be explaining in more details for you in the emails. And well, if you have any question, you can reply to them, you can send me a message, or you can schedule a free meeting with us. All right? I hope to see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.